Welcome back from the break, folks. We are getting into the second half of the day. We have the artists formerly known as Elyssar. I think maybe, I don't know what to call them at this point. I think they had such a bad stage 2. They just wanted nothing to do with any sort of remembrance of that occurrence. And then they're taking on reality TV. Let's start with Excel. Cookies, open up the spreadsheet, create your functions. Let's talk about this Excel team.
Who are we talking about this for? Oh, Ex-Elyssar. If you guys don't understand
Excel.
this guy right now, Elyssar, formerly known, they have added to
He's
their
off
team.
the chain today.
After surviving relegations, they have added Mr. Fish from late registration because he played with this team before. And they added CZ from unemployment. They're looking to get physical. They're looking to be dynamic. Some role changes with that as well. You see Enrio moving around a little bit. Fish on the primary entry, which again he used to be on for this team. So it's gonna be funny. It's gonna be funny to see what they do because this last stage they went 2-8. It's not good, but as we all know, this is Challenger League, and the narrative can change day to day, week to week, and especially stage to stage.
Well, you have to hope that with these roster changes, they will become greater than the sum total of their parts. Forceful over to reality TV. This is a team, we've had a lot of fun watching them so far this year.
I mean, they're a team that came in at the beginning of the year. They won stage 1 CL quals. They relegated, I believe it was Outlast. Was it Outlast? Can't remember off the top of my head. But then they came in, they just impressed us. It was a team that came in that we didn't really expect a whole lot from. We expected them to be middle of the pack. And Mr. B just took this roster and basically made one of the best rosters in Challenger League. I think they're currently sitting 4th overall. This is their stage to kind of lose it or keep it if they want it. Mr. B, you've got Gavini, who is a standout player last stage. One of the best players we've seen on the entry department. Packer, who I have as my highlight player because he was one of those players that was just the most improved. He went from being a sub in stage 1 to one of the most impactful players for this roster in stage 2. And then they replaced Trist and I believe it was Woos with Tristan and Giddy. And Giddy just brings this element of consistency. You've got a nice little rivalry going on between Reality TV and Ex-Elyssar today, with Giddy, previously playing for one team, now playing against them. And Tristan's one of those players that's just a very strong up-and-coming T3 gunner who I'm very eagerly looking forward to seeing his CL debut.
Now, Cookies, after going 2-8, it's not just enough to make roster moves. You actually have to make some major changes. What are the things that you want to see different about their game going into this to hopefully get a better stage 3 than they saw stage 2?
So we're talking about changes, right? Fish. Listen, this team, we've said it 1,050 times since 2020. They attack like they have anchors in their boots. And Fish, there's no question. I actually went back on Twitter and looked at the old tweets people used to make about Fish. I hate playing against this guy. He's just always running in doing stupid stuff. Why don't we get that in CL? What I want out of Fish is the guy that was hyped up in CCS as this demon is so annoying to play against, like he was Stewie 2K or something. There was just so many I hate Fish tweets. Show it in CL today. And also CZ, yes. I won't inform you guys, this game is about to be streamed in front of millions of people. So CZ, I hope you don't get nervous, because it's time for you to step up for this team because they need you. They went 2-8. They need you.
I was actually surprised there. Cookies, normally when you exaggerate numbers, we're up into the millions and billions. Your first reference was just in the thousands, and I was wondering what was wrong there because, now we're getting back. The viewership, you're correct, is in the millions, possibly even the billions. So the pressure is on for CZ. Reality TV, though, Forceful, these guys seem to never feel the pressure. They are cool every single match.
Well, if we're talking about pressure, they had the more pressure between stages 1 and stage 2. They didn't have an off season. They were figuring out the rosters at the very last moment. This time, however, it looks like they've actually had a chance to build the roster they want to build. They've got good players coming to this team. I think they, on paper, have made some of the best roster moves in all of Challenger League. And now they've had an actual off season where they can improve things like having a good map pool, having more than one strat per map. I think this is exactly where Mr. B kind of envisioned his team to be at the start of the year. And now we're finally here. I think this is probably potentially the best iteration of this roster we've seen. I'm actually really looking forward to it.
Oh god, you're getting me excited now. I can't. I was always excited to see a Mr. B game, and now I'm getting even more psyched up. Cookies, I'll let you do the honor. Let's talk about the maps and where we could potentially see this match go.
On reality TV, let's just say when they took the kids, Border was a interesting one to watch, and it's going to be insta banned by Ex-Elyssar. They're not going to let them have a chance at that. Not going to let them have Bank either. Quite frankly, I don't recall Mr. B's team being like world eaters on Bank. Maybe there's something in the Scrim GG that they know about. I don't know. But either which way, we're going to Villa, which, quite frankly, I don't remember the last time I've actually seen Vivid's team. I don't know how many times I could say Ex-Elyssar in a 5-minute period. I don't remember the last time I've seen these guys on Villa and them actually looking like dynamic like that. I would say in this particular matchup, on this particular day, on September 10th, 2022, Reality TV is the better Villa team. Now, I'm ready for debate. Forceful, you are the Dark Zero analyst. You can cuss me out right now if I'm wrong.
I don't think I can. I mean, I want to give Elyssar the benefit of their due. I mean, they had a really good chance to improve over the offseason. I think they're the first Challenger League team to actually, stave off relegations in what, 2-3 years? It's been forever since a Challenger League team survived relegations. So, obviously they got that pressure to okay, we need to be better. They have a good offseason. This has historically been a map that they've been okay on, but after last stage's performance, it's hard to really base that on anything. I think Reality TV, I think it's fair to say this is their better map. Just based off the previous performances in stage 2, I think they won this map twice. So I'm going to give it to Reality TV, but like I said, Elyssar's had a long off season. They had a swift kick in the butt to kind of get their stuff in gear, and I think they had the opportunity to do so. This could go either way.
Yeah, Cookies, you seem to want the dark horse every matchup today.
No, I don't. I changed this.
Oh,
I was down to pick the upset until I saw Villa. And let me just tell you that Charles Vivid, if you guys still move like slower than molasses, it doesn't bode well for you on Villa, especially not against Gavini.
Especially against teams that know their weaknesses now.
And yeah, Giddy is on the other side. Giddy just like, he's actually, the term like giddy, like I'm giddy about something. Like I'm happy, I'm elated.
It's a word, yes, we're aware.
Giddy is giddy about this matchup because he knows exactly what he's going to get, and he knows what he has in his teammates now. That's why he left. He betrayed them. He's going to get his vengeance. Or would it be vengeance? I don't know, man. You know what I'm trying to say, though.
Revenge, vengeance, however you want to say it. It is a dish. Best curves
Yes.
sold. That is all.
I'm
Here I
surrounded
am
by
thinking,
people who think they're
I'm making
punny.
this transition with a great cliche, and I just botched it. I dropped the ball. But as much as I dropped the ball, we got to hope that Elyssar or Ex-Elyssar or Excel or whatever you want to call them don't drop the ball themselves, because it's going to be a tough one on Villa taking on Reality TV, Mr. B and the boys. We're going to go to that match right now.
I could tell you this, I am giddy, John, to be back in Challenger League with you, first and foremost. Hello, everybody. I am Lynx, joined by Fellow. If you also can't tell, by the way, I live in a new place again. I think during my time in Challenger League, I've casted from 4 different locations. I'm hitting the around the world with my casting.
He's escaped captivity. He was
locked
up for a long time, but now he's back. He's here to cast with me.
Can't hold me back. Can't hold me back.
All I could have wanted. Although the Jonah and Carter duo is always enjoyable to watch, so that'll be fun later down the road for CL. But in terms of the game that we've got here on the board, I'm just going to say this out the bat. I think Reality TV, I think they just look like the better team as a whole. I think their roster moves are going to boost them up even more to what they were last stage. I mean, they've had all the time during that layoff period between CL stage 2 and 3 to actually have practice with Tristan. And also they were trying out Gideon the same time as well for SFCL. So they already know how they all want to play with one another. Whereas Ex-Elyssar, they were still trying to deal with relegation, so they really couldn't make all too many roster changes as a whole. And even the ones they made during Rels, those have now changed as well. So they've, in general, have had less time to practice as the team they currently are today. And also, I just don't think their roster changes are going to help promote their style of play as much as what Reality TV has done during their off time period as well. So on paper, this just looks to be a better position for Reality TV.
But to give Ex-Elyssar, a point in their column, or yes, 2 points in their column in this case, CZ is the kind of player where, sure, sometimes he has bad games, but his reputation at least gives the indication we can count on him to at least show up in this match today. And as the desk also said, it's just the kind of player where you can bet he's going to confuse the hell out of reality TV with his play style. So even though they have not had a lot of time to be together, these two players, one could still take over the lobby and one can still confuse the hell out of their opponents. The ban phase has, by the way, gone and transpired and completed in the time that we've been talking. Bans we'd expect all around. Thatcher, Valk, Mira, then taking Nook off the board, an operator that has gained a lot of play, and because she is one of the only operators with nades remaining, if you have not tuned in, or just now tuning in and haven't been clued into the meta, nades got slashed. Their stock is so incredibly low, so now you only have 3 operators to pick from if you want to bring frag grenades as a secondary.
Currently, Nook has a 100% ban rate, and not only the fact that she promotes more positions to be taken by the offense to have that light lurk, or a strong lurk, which can be rather deadly throughout the entire round, but also, like you mentioned, the grenades, those have been pretty much slashed at their Achilles heel, and they are nowhere near as strong as they were last season. Same thing applies for LMGs, and in general, just having stronger weapons on each side, things seem rather even in that department, but we'll get to see the gunplay during the action phase. Currently, we've got a pretty standard aviator extension setup being done by Reality TV, so they can roam a bit over near the master side of the map, maybe work some sort of early entry, break a few drones here and there, and depending on how Ex-Elyssar want to attack into that, that could allow for a fallback, either up above or just through that drop down near like jungle area where Reality TV are currently stacked up at, or if Ex-Elyssar want to just be direct, they could just go in for a main and study clear, which based on their spawns and where they already are currently, I think they're going to opt for the latter and just try to avoid that extension as much as they can near master.
Yeah, we see Focal starting to move into that library area, Fish breaking down the main door very quickly. Even if they don't end up pushing in through here, they are spending a lot of their focus in the early round, either trying to gather intel, or as you can see with Focal, trying to actively establish map control. Vivid also moving up to the study balcony. They are clearly focusing on this main stairs side of things right now. But of course, the question is, John, with less nades than you would have just a couple months ago, not as much overall explosive utility, save for that Flores, how are you going to clear this out? Because nades might not be the most viable option anymore, especially with a Wamai on the board.
Well, most easily, range shot destruction, not only having the AK and R4C buffed, having the ability to utilize those explosive charges too can really put a lot of hurt on those shield players, for example. But so far, it seems like their terror drones and grenades are going to be enough as is. Packer's so low from that first frag is now finished off with a nice vertical angle. A second nade to follow up, but Giddy gets aggressive. Actually punishes Ex-Elyssar for not holding main all too strongly, and it's just a collapse near this main stairs position. A roughly even position for both teams, but until Vivid gets revived, it's technically a 3v2, but now a direct 3v2 actually favoring Ex-Elyssar.
Efficiencies are doing their job, causing chaos and getting kills. That's what we expected from these two players on Ex-Elyssar, and predicting how they would play the game by getting picked up on this roster. And so far, they have been what has saved this round. Round number 1 on Aviator Games for Ex-Elyssar. Unfortunately, one goes down. Mr. B decapitates CZ, peeking outside. And unfortunately, Fish not long for this world either. Seemed like a glimmer of hope as CZ and Fish moved up main stairs. But it begins and ends pretty much the same, with Reality TV on top.
And it was a good start for Ex-Elyssar as well. They wasted little to no time breaking that main shield, forcing a fallback, and after that, you want to try to get proper control of main stairs, but sometimes you have to worry about someone maybe sitting up near bookshelves, for example, maybe on the rotate leading in between 90 and the actual bomb site itself. So they ended up trying to set up nades underneath to deal with that player, and although they downed him, they didn't fully have a person watching for anyone just walking down main stairs. They got a little carried away trying to confirm that kill on a Packer, and they were swiftly punished for that. And also not having the ability to have someone rotate the study to revive the down Flores, it did technically lead to a man advantage at one point for Reality TV, which they were more than willing to utilize that to reclaim map control and just outright, win those last couple of gunfights. A fantastic start here for Reality TV on their defense. But again, the early game and the pressure by Ex-Elyssar that we saw in that first minute and a half was great as well.
And if they should be able to continue with that pressure and maybe not let a gap open up, that Giddy was able to take hold of that could have been some good momentum on main stairs and something that they can build off of as we go into the second round. We see another extension by Ex-Elyssar. Some players downstairs, Giddy on that alibi, moving around library at the moment. Some players, I was going to say, in Aviator Games, but Gavini is all the way beyond that, rotating up the main stairs. Ex-Elyssar are meeting something similar, an extension across the map, but they have to decide, do they want to go the direct route and attack the site or down below, or do they want to bite? So far, at least for now in the early round, doing the same thing they did before and trying to bypass it.
Going rather direct once again, but not putting all their eggs in one basket. They still have people trying to clear out near the first floor, maybe establish some of that verticality, and if there was anything on the triple wall, they could potentially get it opened up with some well-timed nades or ash charge. Unless it was a K call, then that would be a little difficult to get unless you could just see them with the vertical with those explosive devices. First minute has now concluded here. LSR, I believe, just now acknowledging there is some sort of roam presence over near living room, but can't quite confirm that. So honestly, if Reality TV just play a little more passive and don't overextend their hand, force Ex-Elyssar to get out of these comfort positions, this could potentially be a good entry opportunity for Reality TV.
Holding fast for the time being. Giddy still staying down below. Focal will start sending up some nades, but there's nobody playing on the triple panel. Part of it opened up to allow some aggression and some angles into master bedroom. Aside from some shots fired at seemingly nothing, nobody has taken a lick of damage so far in round number 2. More nades hit the floor, but no ground gained by Ex-Elyssar. Still waiting for something to give. Gavini's joined Giddy down below, inside of library. A drone has now spotted the Goyo, but Ex-Elyssar still do not pounce.
They only have a rough idea about this extension, and even then, still having smoke playing near Astro Stairs, if everyone just tunnel visions onto the guy playing near Mudroom, that could be a great opportunity for Packer to deal some major damage.
Only one drone on the board as well. All of that method of intel gathering, save for the Yana clone in the hands of Focal. Now gone. Oof. Packer creeps on down and gets the first kill. CZ dispatched easily on Astro Stairs. More players stacking up in library. 2-3 kills go Ex-Elyssar's way. A lot of damage taken, but a lot of ground gained in a very small amount of time. Giddy rotating up Astro, though. Might not have given away his position. There's still players in bathroom watching these stairs. He moves on up, sees somebody behind the desk, but doesn't react. No, reacts too slowly, and none of the shots hit. Leaves Gavini all alone, working his way in bedroom. No. A masterful flank by the Goyo, but in the end, doesn't matter. Ex-Elyssar made the play they needed to make, got the control they needed, and win round number 2 despite a huge play from Gavini.
And with that Vulcan detonated as well, that could have been a very easy isolation kill onto the Iana, but the player walking up Asher just could not see them apparently behind the desk and chair. Also, for Ex-Elyssar, able to actually evade a lot of that roam presence, just simply walk past it. And although you did have Packer give a lot of trouble over near Astro, eventually he was going to die, especially if his roamers underneath with him could not be active to play for some sort of traders, play aggressive to go on those swings, so he could only have to focus on either master bathroom or the bottom Astro position. So it was a decent start for Reality TV, funny enough, but Ex-Elyssar just being able to time their execution correctly onto Astro allowed multiple points of attack and simply able just to overwhelm Reality TV on that slight extension. And we're not going to see a reattempt on Trophy, but instead Dining Room now on the drawing board here for Reality TV. Let's see how well they can potentially try to extend either on the top floor or maybe get a little more horizontal.
And in the past 2 rounds, Ex-Elyssar are doing a great job, even though they lost round number 1, of losing the opening pick, but in round number 2, trading it back, and in round number 1, even though they weren't able to confirm the kill, Downing Packer still able to get some ground. So in round number 3, let's see if Reality TV, by making some of these changes, they're going downstairs, they're bringing a Vigil, bringing a Pulse for more intel, and an Azami to make these offsite positions a lot more fortified. Let's see if they're able to maybe mount enough pressure or mount enough of an army almost offsite to stop Ex-Elyssar from being able to trade things out so easily and make them have to gamble and fight a lot more for that control beyond that first kill.
Mr. B with that cardiac sensor, just making sure he can feed to his teammates how exactly Ex-Elyssar are going to opt to attack on round number 3. Sometimes that can be a really good way to stop any kind of rush plays from happening. Normally with a rush, you have the element of surprise, but with literal wall hacks, essentially, it's pretty hard to have the one-up. And, Mr. B, I think he spotted maybe someone just sitting a little too still and expected him to be on the cam, so he gets a freebie. Opening kill once again for Reality TV, and he is well aware that Master is going to be the main point of attack here for Ex-Elyssar. He still has all that info with the cardiac sensor.
Tantalizing information for Mr. B right now. He sees them outside, waiting for them to enter, still has a C4 and has taken some damage through the floor. That's the IQ who did it, but he ends up falling down onto the ground. Unlucky right there, but he might be able to get rezzed, but they're certainly all going to be concerned as C4s erupt from below. One dispatched and dealt with Packer, but doesn't find much. The second, though, much better for Mr. B. First 2 kills of the round. Some damage done onto the third. He might end up falling, and that might just yield the site momentarily.
But having that Banshee able to push back Vivid for a little while longer, not having really any coverage but their own talent shields as well, could make things very challenging, especially if you just let him maybe get into that safety net and just force a retake potentially during that post plant. Reality TV still had the man advantage, and with no hard breach left, everything seems to be pretty direct force here for Ex-Elyssar. They might just have to try to flood either through Laundry, for example, and maybe a memo push, and once again, try to fall back on this post-plant position, but really, they don't have all that much besides the talent shields to really give them coverage, and maybe some vertical, too.
David try to break the talent shield. He'll go for the plant. Ex-Elyssar have vertical control. They're trying to storm his position. He just might make it.
No way.
Nobody's watching. There's no hole made above Vivid. Wimpy will drop down and try to compensate for the mistakes they've made. He'll get 1 kill, but beyond that, Vivid was alone outside of Laundry moving into the site. And his teammates, well, actually, I was going to say a comment, but Mr. B spoke for him.
I mean, yeah, I couldn't have said it any better. Just short, sweet, and to the point. Ex-Elyssar not having all too fortunate of a clear. I'm not 100% sure about this, but I think a breaching charge actually down the IQ. I heard an explosion rattle off, and there were no nitros deployed. And were there any impacts on that round? It was a breaching charge.
I saw Vigil had impact grenades and they were gone. I was like, maybe Tristan impacted the floor?
Yeah.
No, Gavini, I think. Either one of them impacted the floor, but I was wondering what that was as well.
The breaching charge went off as he went down, so it could be coincidental, or it could have been a mistake made by Ex-Elyssar.
That one's a lot funnier, so I think we should go with that one.
I completely agree. I'm glad we're on the same page.
That one has a lot more entertainment value, so I'm fine assuming that's what happened.
Yeah. Ex-Elyssar, unfortunately, they weren't fully on the same page, at least with the timing of that execute. You know, they were getting vertical down to establish better coverage, but they didn't have any direct backup onto the OSA. So once you just walked past the only line of defense for that plan, not only the talent shield, but also that verticality, it was a pretty straightforward kill. Now the diffuser is just trapped inside of sight. You're playing a 4v2 and just have to sit and keep away. Eventually that vertical has to be removed by the offensive side from their own hand. So a pretty simple way to win the round as a whole. And Ex-Elyssar, if they were just a little bit better on that timing, maybe could have had more success on that vertical and could have had just slightly better coverage on that post-plant setup.
Yeah, it's sad. I mean, there were no impacts, no more C4s for Reality TV. They had to swing it, and if they had that coverage, Ex-Elyssar probably win that round, but unlucky. They'll just have to try better next time. And this time on Aviator Games, a place where on a site where they were able to get that map control after losing the entry. But once again, were stopped a little bit short of the site. Didn't get as far as they did in Kitchen, to be fair, but still only made it up main stairs and didn't make it much farther than that. Going about things how they did before, though. Establishing control down below, trying to get some vertical pressure with these nades, with these gunfights as well. And they have info on one, but will it find purchase? First nade says no.
Doesn't even break their shield as it is on top of that map's table. There might be a big enough opening, though, to throw another grenade to break it, but I'm not too sure if there's any kind of... No, there might only be a magnet to maybe displace that grenade, so depending on how the sledge works it out, that could be the shield eventually gone. But yeah, no dice in the kill department, still that 5 versus 5. And Focal trying to work his way with a nice 90 angle as well to make sure some of that pressure can be alleviated throughout the rest of Ex-Elyssar as they continue this mostly straightforward push. The drone comes out, spots out Packer, and he'll just go for the run out, but he has no information on where Focal is on this rappel. 2 instant kills favor Ex-Elyssar as Fish as well caught one off screen, and now things are looking rather grim for Reality TV.
Sadly, I don't know if that was a play, but Gavini fights back. He gets one onto Fish. Tristan fighting for 2, does spot the head, but unfortunately, he's too busy focusing on shooting, well, anywhere he possibly can, and I think his crosshair actually obscured Focal. So unlucky for him, Gavini now has to retreat back to the site to aid Giddy, who's the only one on this second floor, trying to fight for any remedy. They're 2v4. Won't find anything outside that 90 window. He'll move back into the site, likely try to weather the storm and wait for Ex-Elyssar to dump all of this utility. then hope that gives them a chance as they move into the site. No C4s or really any plant denial of any kind on reality TV, save for the guns right now. The angles they have, and Gavini has a good one. He has study control, and there's no one from Ex-Elyssar. Well, my chance. I was going to say there's nobody over in that area, but Focal likely rotating over to the study balk. That'll put pressure on Gavini and put a lot of pressure on Giddy. But he gets one, he gets two. Drops the diffuser in outside of sight as well. Does lose some of his HP, but John, he has done more than enough work at this point. Giddy tags on for 3, and it's Focal all alone. The man to rotate, to put pressure on a different position, is now all alone in this one singular spot. Nobody looking at him whatsoever. Giddy gets the second kill. And what a beautiful 2v4 from reality TV, or it might be a major misplay by Ex-Elyssar.
And that is the one strong thing we've always seen by reality TV, is their ability to work kills when they are still at a deficit, just anchoring in the site and expecting their opponents to have their guard down. That is exactly what happened. Ex-Elyssar, it just seemed like they were not expecting anyone to swing the skull doorway. They were expecting just to get set up so perfectly to go in for that execute, especially since they had somebody, that being Focal, rotating over to study, but they just took too long on that front. And Gavini, having to realize he's got to work some sort of pick, he just swings wide and is able to isolate 2 separate players. And Giddy replicates the exact same thing as well, especially since they had info that one player is study, so both attackers are isolated and they have no chance of setting up for a close fight because they are so low on time and bodies now. They went from a 4v2 to a direct 2 versus 2 confrontation. That was so well done to keep the composure there by reality TV. And Ex-Elyssar, again, their early and mid round was fantastic. The positions they were holding to make sure that reality TV couldn't work those refrags immediately was fantastic. But again, they let their guard down, and reality TV was once again able to capitalize because of that.
3-1 lead now opened up on Villa, going over to Trophy Statuary, which is the one site that Ex-Elyssar have managed to make work. It was based on a similar trend to how they won round number 1, well, how they started round number 1. But this time they were actually able to get a win out of it. Their only one so far, and I don't imagine Ex-Elyssar are, well, I was going to say they might not change things up, but now we see someone outside on study balk where, John, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't believe we saw someone before. If we did, wasn't a lot of focus over there.
No, it was more or less an extension on the first floor to help the Astro players. So this is something slightly changed by reality TV. Maybe expecting a different outlook by Ex-Elyssar as a whole, but
well.
It doesn't really seem to be the case. Everyone but that one player near study is still going in for a master overclear. They still have the attackers working their way underneath, and they've already got control of China and the rest of, you know, Tetris / dining room as well. Kitchen, I should say, pardon. So things looking pretty good on paper for Ex-Elyssar, and they have good info that Giddy is still playing near living room, so this could be a much easier clear on the first floor than what we saw last time Trophy was in play.
And they stay down here for until about a minute remaining and without finding much. But now they find something a lot earlier on, and a lot more decisive. MP takes down Mr. B, and again before, as I said, for rounds 1 and 2, they lost the first pick, but then were able to trade it back. This time, they're able to start a lot better. But then again, started out very good last time. They ended up losing a 2v4 in the round we just saw. So we still need to see something from Ex-Elyssar to show, okay, you've got that opening pick. Can you do more? Can you clear out Packer off Astro Stairs or Giddy out from down below in Library? Are you going to collapse in a minute like you did in round number 2?
And besides that heavy lurk, really nothing has changed. If we just see a faster pushback by reality TV when dealing with that Astro presence, this could still be a win in their book. But of course, they are down a player, and they don't have the best info as a whole in terms of this 90 pushback. This could be a really good play in the making here for Ex-Elyssar, especially if Fish can land these shots.
Giddy, I thought Giddy was going to get taken off guard, but he hears them now. He hears the sound cues inside of Aviator at least, but does he know that there's somebody in 90? Z-ping on him. They know the alibi is there. He gets spotted, and Focal cuts him down. Fish gets a third kill onto Tristan. That leaves Packer moving off of Astro to fly solo until Gavini has an impact, and an impact he does. C4 from down below. That's all he gets. And Vivid gets the bomb down at that. Ex-Elyssar can retreat to their post-plant positions and wait for the final 2 members to walk in their crosshairs. He spots the Goyo, but the Goyo gets the kill. Excellent shot by Gavini, tagging for 3 and 4 he does! Focal the only one alive. The Goyo going huge in round number 5. Now what does Focal to do? Packer's on low HP, Gavini's on low HP. 1 or 2 bullets each, and that's round number 2 for you. But Gavini spots him, and Gavini gets the ace! Packer gets the defuse, and reality TV clutch another 2v4.
And we talked about Gavini's stellar performance, showing that immediately, not only in the round before round number 5, but the trophy hold itself. That was such phenomenal coordination by Ex-Elyssar. Both Fish and Focal tag teaming the player near Skull, and the second Focal calmed, he's dead. Fish moves his crosshair and focuses solely on that trophy presence, and that granted 2 instant kills for Ex-Elyssar. I really thought that they had the round in the bag, but again, Reality TV's ability to understand the weak points of an execute and how to work kills off of that saved them the round, and overall just the retake as a whole. Gavini flanking in through bathroom as there was little to no presence over near Astro's side. He finds every single kill on that round, and they are still able to lock down the defuse in a timely manner. That's got to be a real stinger for Ex-Elyssar, because again, this is a site they won in the past, and besides that ace by Gavini, that looked to be a round one as a whole for Ex-Elyssar, because they looked fantastic in the late round.
Just letting Gavini get that flank off, and 3 players all lining up for him. When he got that third kill, I honestly didn't even register he had killed someone for a second. Like, we switched to him.
Through the door frame.
Yeah, and right as he peeked that door frame, exactly, died immediately. I was like, oh wait, he just killed someone. Then he got the 4th. That was excellent play by Gavini. 2 rounds in a row now where he is the player who brought things back in terms of kills, but 2 rounds where Ex-Elyssar let some rounds slip away, and those are the kinds of plays where, especially if that second half is close, you're going to be looking back and wishing you had just been a little bit more decisive. You could have closed this out, especially when there are so many questions and so many doubts about how Ex-Elyssar is going to do in Stage 3.
It was more or less a bit of a tunnel vision, it seemed, too, on that potential flank. This time, though, Ex-Elyssar, sick and tired of these shenanigans, they'll opt to bring out the Nomad to really guarantee whatever map control they get, they will keep. But Mr. B, I believe his 4th entry engagement in this matchup,
Yes,
is going to find a kill onto CZ this time. It's been 2 and 2 so far in that stat line, but on a tertiary bomb site pick, and especially on your vertical player, that is a major kill that Mr. B just forced to appear. Not necessarily out of thin air, but it seemed like it.
Yeah, an only set of nades, which might be the bigger selling point, because Focal and Fish do both have breach charges. That's 6 holes you can open up, and you got to be a little bit more careful. You don't end up breach charging Focal into oblivion. So they do still have vertical, but missing those nades and missing someone who can create as much vertical as that sledge still going to hurt. First C4 goes out, and they can at least be thankful that Mr. B doesn't find anything. And in fact, Focal, if he wants to, can try to find Mr. B and all the utility that's placed down below, but second C4 goes out, and it's much more impactful.
That's tragic. Having the metal rebar catch the bullets so the bandit battery was staying up, that forced more time to be complacent in that position, allowing the C4 to actually connect onto Focal. The little things making a huge difference here for Reality TV, and yeah, sure, you've got the air jabs to deny the flank, but Reality TV, they A, still have a player above, and B, they don't need to flank, not only because they have someone above still, but they've got the man advantage. There's no reason to work a pick. Tristan still does so, having the element of surprise. Giddy tag teams as well into Vivid, leaving just Fish alone in a 1 versus 5 with the entire map against him, it seems, as Reality TV have not moved a muscle unless they've been working for a gunfight. Giddy does so once again, this time up red. It's flawlessly done by Reality TV, and another 5-to-1 half, it seems. Or no, actually, only the second one.
Yeah, and in the early round, everything is going against Ex-Elyssar. Reality TV's utility down below, first one misses, but the C4 works. That IQ you brought specifically to counter that pulse and all that utility down below doesn't work anymore. Blown sky high by a C4, and then after that, trying to clear out that top floor, we saw someone just sitting, waiting inside of Boar. Ex-Elyssar down to 2 drones, only one of them active. As we're reaching a minute remaining, they're not able to drone out that other player, and Boar, Wimpy ends up dying as a result. Likely knew there might be somebody there, but isn't able to actively drone them. They end up dying as a result. So a lot of utility going against Ex-Elyssar, some in their own pockets, some in the enemies, and now it's a 5-1 half they have to stare down as they switch to the defense. John, no, maybe they're able to bring it back. They didn't play a lot of Villa last stage. Maybe they've been hiding it for this moment. Maybe they have some insane Villa defenses. I feel like with Reality TV and the momentum they have, and the pedigree that they're carrying with them from Stage 2, going into Stage 3, I feel like this might be the end of Game 1 for both these teams.
You know, it almost feels like Ex-Elyssar were forced onto this map because a lot of the default and, equalizer maps were already banned. Some by themselves, I believe, and mostly by Reality TV as
maps
well.
They would have thrived on had that been the case. If you have a team with Fish and CZ and they go to, say, Oregon or Club, They
Yeah.
probably do a lot better than this.
That was one of the first bans, I think, by Reality TV. So this was definitely a favorable ban phase for Reality TV and a favorable hat for them as well. They only need to win, like the tertiary sites, for example, win, the default rounds on their attack, and they'll win the game. Even if Ex-Elyssar have a couple of standout rounds, this just looks on paper to be a good, solid game for Reality TV. Unless, they choke, which they have done in the past, don't get me wrong.
That's true.
But it just doesn't seem likely this early in the game. But to be fair, their first game was actually a choke loss against Unemployment, I believe it was. So, hey, maybe it happens once again this time in the first grade.
Maybe they're starting to move into trophy and stature. Candela's going out, Mr. B going in for the kill, but oh no, stops peeking right as someone walks in front of them. But even if they don't get any kills, one Candela was able to clear out an entire section of the map in the first minute. A little bit slower than a lot of teams take control of trophy and statuary, albeit if they attack that extension. But they still got it. Nobody's playing red stairs. And they can start making inroads into 90, in which there are 2 people playing there. But now you can fully focus on clearing out that area if you want to. Can't let yourself fall this easy. You still got to drone it. Got to make sure you don't get turned on by Wimpy's shotgun. But they've still cleared out trophy statuary for a very minimal cost.
They're able to get someone on the window rappel too that would most likely force a fallback by potentially both defenders here. Maybe one through the hatch and the other one just walking down 90 or just playing there to die. Could be really good potential for more map control here by Reality TV, and seems like eventually get that set up. Packer will be the one arming that one portion of the attack, as he can also get that single wall with the Selmas, and there it goes, the fallback. Not through the hatch, but just through 90 instead. C4 will be attempted, and it lands perfectly onto Packer. Opening kill for Wimpy, and now the hunting wall is going to stay closed for the time being.
You have no secondary hard breach charges of any kind, but the frag grenade lands, and you take down the smoke as well. That C4 already used, and those smoke canisters now ineffective, stuck on the ground. Ex-Elyssar don't have much in the way of plant denial to deal with in either their primary or secondary utility. Reality TV also know that somebody's sitting inside a study. In this case, it's the alibi. How do you deal with them? You just try to swing on in, try to take them off guard. Candela goes on in. That might have blinded them, but CZ still gets the better of Giddy over by study. Mr. B moves on in, but the coverage, it fails this time for Reality TV. They take advantage of it on the defense, but suffer from it on the attack. Gavini still gets one, but it puts Reality TV and keeps them a man disadvantage in a 2v3. Gavini creeps up inside of the site, gets his 3rd on the round. A monumental game from Gavini so far. Finds the 4th, but this one eludes him. The one he likely needed the most to get round number 7. He'll try some more. Tristan goes down. It's all on the Yana. His 2nd ace potentially not working out. CZ with a nice clean 3K as Ex-Elyssar get their 2nd round on the board.
A clean hold overall, especially in 90, to make sure that no one could directly get vault control with that back opening with those Selma charges. But interesting thing for Reality TV, they still wanted to opt to grenade over the vault wall, because now that you've killed the ace, there's no way of getting it open. That allows a false sense of security, but you can still get an opening through at least the soft part of that wall, so you can still throw over utility. The nade gets tossed out, so you have an even trade, and that's on the smoke. So really good potential for that post plant, but it still seemed for Reality TV that they didn't have enough coordination to push in through study and also skull leading into sight all at the exact same time. I think Mr. B was expecting someone to be at his skull door to cover him in case anyone swung wide from study. They could have a nice crossfire on the player near the balcony or window, slash somebody over near skull. But again, the timing of that was a little ill-advised, so Mr. B dies for free, and now you have to worry about both study presence and still someone sitting in the back of the bar slash vault room as well. Although Gavini landed some really nice shots, the fact that he couldn't confirm that frag on the guy stacked up in vault, it allowed too many angles for Ex-Elyssar to play off of to guarantee that Reality TV couldn't really close the gap to not only get that defuse down, but also just take gunfights that were going to go their way.
Gavini landing that shot probably nets them match point, assuming they're able to clean out the 2v1. But they have the benefit of a 3-round gap right now. Before it was 4 rounds, they lose round on 7. They still have 3 rounds. Try and get things figured out before Ex-Elyssar tie things up, and Reality TV need to be, at that point, extremely concerned. But that could be well into the future, and we might not even get there if Reality TV can win these next 2 rounds. Move to trophy statuary. Mr. B sticks with the Ying. I imagine, John, you're gonna see Mr. B go up to that skylight and toss those Candelas down. Maybe see him go a different way, but seeing that people are lining up for a direct, I imagine we're gonna see, at some point, some Candelas tossed down through that skylight once they go for an execute.
I was gonna say, maybe Candelas to allow his teammates to hop into Master, be a little more assertive in taking these gunfights. That might not be a horrible idea, since it can always be so difficult to get that, Brick's shield destroyed, especially when you have A, ADS, and B, and a zombie Kiba to weaken the sight lines of anyone playing outside, you have to make that first move in the building. They might try to do that first and foremost. The ADS will catch that first grenade, but Mr. B just waltzes right in, expecting an early challenge. He'll try to take it, but peeks the wrong angle. Focal does get traded, and it might be a full commitment here by Reality TV just to try to work another kill, perhaps.
But Focal gets back up, and Mr. B, he can't get picked back up. He's staying down. There's Gavini, the man to watch. Player of the match so far for Reality TV. He's trying to get his 15th kill behind that shield, but Vivid, he's not trying to peek it. He's playing it as safe as he can possibly be. The shield gets destroyed, and he might have to start getting his hands dirty, as his protection is now only a wooden desk and not a bulletproof shield like it was before. He does have support from CZ on Astro Stairs, who had himself a fairly good late round and is looking to at least break even in round number 8, if not go positive at 7 and 6. Vivid starting to rotate out. He gets spotted. Tristan down at the same time, forces Reality TV to back off for a second. E1D goes out as well, and that freezes Vivid in place. But he so far escaped the player on Astro Stairs, tries to stop the breach, but he whiffs his opportunity. Hacker gets a 2K. Ex-Elyssar collapsing at the seams in round number 8. Fish has got to sprint all the way back, hightail it up red stairs. But the action's already happened. He's late to the party. Packer gets the bomb down successfully, and Gavini can wait. Kill 15 in round number 8. Fish moves now into Boar. 1v3. Giddy. I believe Packer have a crossfire. Yes, they do. One prong of it falls. The second remains steadfast and gets the kill they need. Reality TV moved to match point.
And for Reality TV as well, not only the idea of trying to get into Masters so they can make sure they can win those early engagements off the power spots like that shield near Brick's doorway, but also keeping someone on that Asher rappel with there being 2 defenders in that position, both top of Astro and on the stairwell. You could theoretically have a 3v2 on site and just have your player on the rappel hold the, rotate denial. That way you can just challenge those last 2 people, and if they're on opposite sites, you could potentially isolate for a 3v1 depending on how you play your cards. So overall, that was a fantastic adjustment by Reality TV, still opting to go direct through that triple wall. And if they hadn't lost that one player to, I believe it was make it that 3 versus 3, they might have had an even smoother time of winning that round. But Packer being able to land a couple of better shots when trying to hop his way into the bomb site was just the saving grace for them. And again, having that insurance policy of someone playing on Asher Rappel, so you, for the most part, once the site presence is gone, you only have to worry about someone maybe walking up through red. It did allow pretty much only one option left for Ex-Elyssar, and funny enough, it was their one player of Fish walking up through red, having to walk into several different crossfires. So once again, really well done by Reality TV, despite the fact they lost their technical spearhead of Mr. B on that Yang.
Match point for Reality TV. Just one round away from getting a clean, decisive win in their first game in NACL Stage 3. Fish looking for something decisive to start out. Peeking outside of that art window. Does not find anything. Sprays pretty much his entire mag, but unfortunately finds nothing. Maybe main door will serve as a better toss of the dice, but he withholds his hand for the time being and instead retreats up the main stairs, likely not wanting to press his luck too much 30 seconds into the round. Reality TV will fill that gap there, John. Tristan moving on in, trying to drone. Will spot the Legion as well, but CZ2 falls back, but takes a lot more damage than Fish did when he tried to gamble with his life.
Almost being able to kill CZ as he ended up falling back, just that common pre-fire, or at least a common spot to hold, not necessarily a pre-fire. Sometimes the wall's actually opened up to a better line of sight for someone down near that red 90. But so far, no entry kill just yet for either team. Fallback is almost mostly guaranteed through at least, the main part of the map. Everything but study, of course, and near that AV spot, but everything on the first floor has been, for the most part, dealt with accordingly by Reality TV. So now they can probably take a lot of the map in their back pocket and get ready to potentially ascend upward. But I think I've misread this. I thought the site might have been trophy, perhaps, by Ex-Elyssar, but no, it's actually dining room. This could be a really good position to hold, as is for Reality TV, since they've gotten that control over near living room at a pretty good time frame. The only thing they'd have to worry about maybe is that verticality if it's unchecked.
Yeah, I was about to say, you'd be forgiven for maybe mistaking the site. The majority of Ex-Elyssar are upstairs in trophy statuary right now. That is one thing Reality TV will have to worry about. The vertical angles Ex-Elyssar are holding, how they want to deal with them. They've acquired a lot of the control you need if you want to take kitchen statuary horizontally. You've taken into living room. You might need to worry about opening up that memorial wall and trying to get another angle, because the people inside, they can make use of the freedom they're given. Focal starts out with a kill on the Packer, and that's the hard breach and gone. The second kill goes, and that's Giddy gone. on the Twitch. Not the same utility as Packer, to be sure, but two players you don't want to lose. Cavini picks up one, though, makes it an even 3v3. He's taken sight at that, made his way into kitchen, looking into dining as well. They've taken the man advantage and run with it. Fish will now drop. He'll reveal himself, but get the kill nonetheless. Back to a 2v2. Sitting on brown stairs for the moment. Wimpy upstairs. Defender's a little isolated right now, but the same could be said for the attack. Tristan in the library. Mr. B now vaulting into Bicycle. They have to consolidate if they want to try to win this 2v2 and eke out the man advantage. He falls down into Laundry. Banshee gives away Mr. B's position on low HP. 1 or 2 bullets will be the end of him, but he backs off for the time being. No EE1Ds to try and freeze any of the defenders. All they have are flashbangs to blind them, and guns to kill them. Picks up Diffuser and vaults back in. There's info on Fish, but the wall's hard. Can't shoot through it. Same with Wimpy. Ex-Elyssar both holding back right now, letting Reality TV move on in. Fish gets the first kill. Mr. B can't seal it out. Fish gets a 2-piece, and Ex-Elyssar hold on.
And the fact that Case was actually dropped out, although there was sight control for a brief moment, Reality TV couldn't do all that much except just continue the hurt in terms of gunplay. And with Fish dropping down in through the Astro Hatch leading to the side stairs, he was able to stop any of that major sight pressure. Reality TV had to completely reset all the momentum they had been brewing up, lost the man advantage on top of that too, and that gave Ex-Elyssar more time to consolidate. They were able to group up, playing both around Laundry and near the pantry doorway leading back into kitchen room. And because there was no vertical clear, Reality TV knew or Ex-Elyssar, pardon, knew that they didn't have to worry about anyone playing back through that hatch. They might, worst case scenario, have to focus on someone near the laundry door outside, but that was mostly it. And once the Banshee had gone off that there was somebody inside a memo, they could just hard play near laundry and not have to worry about a single soul pushing in from that side of the map, just having to focus most likely on that back memo control. I believe the other attacker was working their way in through China, but still with Fish holding that angle, able to get that direct 1-for-1, it just left Mr. B by himself. Not able to get that defuse down, had to go for a gunfight, and Fish was just in the better position once again because they had time to set up for those last 20 seconds in the 2v2.
Ex-Elyssar holding very dominantly onto the early game in the second half. 3-0 as a team on the side swap. Mainly Focal as well. 2 out of the 3 rounds able to get that opening pick. And Reality TV haven't been able to trade it, unfortunately. Only been able to win 1 round in the post plant. Ex-Elyssar having a much better defense, even if it's come down to the wire, as opposed to their attacks, which sometimes, especially in round number 6, didn't seem like there was much of a contest. We'll head back to Aviator Games. Reality TV starting very, very strongly on the study side of things. 2 players over on, or outside of the balcony right now. Make that 3 players, in fact. Not at all the full clear like we saw before, and once again, Packer, unfortunately, the one who takes the early bit of lethal damage.
I believe at least 3 opening deaths for Packer now, but at least there was a swift trade. Again, though, no hard breach for an AV attack. So once again, Vault is going to be a pretty strong spot to hold here. The defensive side, only thing you might have to worry about again is that nade presence that might happen by Reality TV, but they have 2, so they would probably need to use them very sparingly as a whole. Reality TV now trying to opt to maybe converse a little more towards Master, perhaps, or at the very least Mr. B, which by himself, having Case, could be very dangerous. But instead, opt for the safer option, and instead just has a camera for flank watch, and more specifically making sure no one can peek that one Master window. So playing on that side portion of Study Balcony can be a lot safer for Reality TV, since they want to go direct here. It makes sense. They would want really solid control of Study.
To establish main stairs is still a hurdle you need to overcome, and one that after half the round, Reality TV have not made much progress in. That shield is still alive. CZ unbothered behind it. What are they to do beyond pre-fire just to the right of it and hope CZ walks into their bullets? The hold back, just continue to gather intel. Only 1 nade remaining for them to play vertical with. No sledge on the board. So once that nade goes, they just have to hope they can shoot Wimpy in the head instead of exploding the floor beneath him. Gavini will cook it, but he'll put it back in his pocket. Holding back once again as the Candela goes out and clears out main stairs. That's the work they needed done, but nobody dealt with Wimpy. They forgot he existed. He picks up the easiest kill of his life and takes down the best player in the lobby by a wide margin. If you look at stats, but let's be honest, it's Gavini. I think we all knew that heading into this game. Have main stairs control, but still a man disadvantage. Somebody playing in Books Hall close with a shotgun and more than enough guns trained on that study door leading into Aviator. Mr. B's got the bullets to land a nasty pre-fire, the smoke grenades to blind in cut-off angles as well. Final Candela goes in, but there's a smoke in his way. If he wants to push on in, he'll have to take some damage. CZ unblinded. He can watch this doorway, but there's the smoke. That's what they needed. The angle shut down. You have to capitalize off of it. You need to move in. Mr. B finally does, but Wimpy cuts somebody down. Only Tristan can cover this bomb going to the floor. Gets him through the smoke. Beautiful shot by the Zofia, and the bomb goes down successfully. He somehow whiffs it. Mr. B's alive, and Reality TV wins 7-3. And John, to start out, at least my first game of Challenger League, that's got to be the most ridiculous way I've seen a game won in CL this year.
And I was going to mention the underperformance by Tristan, maybe some of those nerves getting to him in a new environment. But the last round, I mean, wow, he really showed up. What was that?
What was that? Like, dude,
I don't know. The Mr. B aspect is like completely out of my hand. Like the fact Wimpy did not kill him is baffling. Not even his fault. Like I think the maps table just ate half his pellets. I'm gonna be honest.
Either Wimpy put half of that spray into the shotgun, or the game just stole the kill from him. That was unfortunate.
And then the second shot doesn't kill him too. Mr. B somehow gets off the plant and then kills Wimpy. No, that's
crazy.
Yeah, no, he had no control of that. That's rather unfortunate. But Tristan in particular, filling in a lot of the void that was left during that execute, having beautiful coverage and even better intuition. Again, spraying to the smoke like we saw, that's vault pressure now diminished. You can, for the most part, just focus on that rotate leading in through bar, because you're probably not going to have someone re-walk back in through a smoke grenade in a vault. And he was getting set up for that, but just a small misinput. It did allow Wimpy to get through, but again, just I guess luck was on their side. Everyone had a 4-leaf clover in their pocket today for Audi TV, because Wimpy was just a black cat in that position, complete and total bad luck. That was really unfortunate for him.
Yeah, I mean, hey, with a team called Reality TV, you can always expect them to keep things entertaining. A great game for Mr. B and Gavini, and a great win to start out the stage for Reality TV. And we'll throw it to the desk to break down just how it happened.
I mean, that previous matchup between Luminosity and Vipers, you know, there were little minor errors made here and there by Vipers repeatedly, but this just felt, I don't know, it felt like Ex-Elyssar, whatever we're calling them. It was just blunder after blunder. There were so many rounds that were within their grasp. They just stepped on their own feet.
Is it that, or is it the biblicity of a player like Gavini, who I think had 9 points?
We'll get to them. We are not taken away from reality here.
No,
let's be real.
We can. I just want to say, like, Gavini had 9 kills in 2 rounds at one point. Was just absolutely just put his foot in their mouth. No way around it. And the thing is, if you're Elyssar, you made the moves you made to have. You thought you would have your own Gavini and CZ and Fish. And I think part of it is, you know, I don't think Fish is playing in the style that he would excel in. I would much rather see him die in the first 2 seconds, playing like the Fish that I know and love from ranked. I'd rather him play it like ranked than try to play it like someone he isn't. And it feels like he's supposed to be the flashy action player, and he's just not doing that. He's last alive. He looks scared. He looks like a deer in the headlights, other than some flashes of it. It's just not, but he's not Gavini. He's not him.
They need him. I mean, we're one game in, but he does need to find his place. You know, kind of what fits for him is what I think you're getting to. And maybe that takes time, maybe it doesn't, but hopefully it does come for him. But Tanner, now on the positive side, Reality TV, Mr. B's team. Did we even have a break, or did they just pick up right where we left off?
I think they picked up right where they left off. There were some hiccups I saw, especially in the early round on their defensive half, where, you know, giving up too many picks, or they're just letting, you know, little sneaky plays from Fish get ahead of them. But for the most part, they were playing lights out. And you got to go back to Gavini. He was just an absolute lights out player. There were one game where they won one round where they won a 2v4, and then he follows that up with an ace clutch in the post plant. Like, you can't really ask for much more from your player. And I think that really just kind of goes back to Ex-Elyssar. Just like their post-plant positioning was really questionable. There wasn't a lot of coverage. I think there was one round where Mr. B just runs up on an OSHA shield and he's got no one covering him. And he's just like, where's your coverage, right? And that's kind of how I think this game went. Reality TV showed up to play. They put themselves in a really strong position to get these picks. You had really good standout performances from Gavini and Mr. B specifically. And as a result, you know, they're going to take the three points today, and they're going to remain in that top 4 position for Challenger League playoffs.
Well, we are going to talk to none other than Mr. B. We'll ask him a few questions and welcome him back from the break. Mr. B, blowout victory for reality TV. I gotta ask first and foremost, we were rather impressed by your roster changes coming into this stage. How did you feel that everyone kind of meshed together, even though we are one game in?
Oh, I'm super happy with the team. Yeah, like I don't think I could have gotten any better players.
Yeah. Well, speaking of better players, I think you already had one, and that was Gavini, who just went massive today. I mean, we knew this guy was good from last stage, but today was another story.
Oh yeah, he was he was going kind of crazy today. that clutch and trophy was absolutely insane. Gotta put that boy on Goyo a little more.
Yeah. Okay, and I gotta ask this finally, based on how we were talking about this pre-game, not post-game, but pre-game. How stage 1 to stage 2, you guys have been steadily improving.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask a question to you right now. Do you guys see yourselves being on top stage number 3?
Now, I'm gonna follow that up with a little bit of a challenge for every other CL team. All right? Because
okay.
I don't only think we're gonna get first. I think we're gonna go undefeated. Right? So I want to see if a single Challenger League team can beat us in the regular stages.
So you're telling me that if I vote for your team every week, my stats should be through the roof? Is that what you're telling me right now?
Exactly. Yep.
I
believe you're going to have an undefeated
and
stage.
I will be furious if you're incorrect.
Yeah. No, and I don't. I think CL is a little bit sad at the moment. All right, a little sad. We're lacking some, talent. We're lacking some good teams. All right. So yeah, I think it's our season to win.
We have had some departures from the scene, as well as people getting eaten up into Pro League. But yep. Game's on, Mr. B. We'll be watching.
Gotta keep it interesting, you know?
Thank you so much for your time. Have a good one, dude.
All right, have a good one.
Bold statement. I don't know if a statement that bold has been made in an interview yet. Cookies, you look stunned right now.
What's crazy is it was unprompted. You said that. You didn't set him up. Like, sometimes we slip. You said that. He's just like, someone beat us, please. I dare you. And you know what? It's British. You might have a point here. They keep playing like that. Tristan. What's funny is there was a whole lot of hype behind Tristan, right? Tristan didn't even do all that. They weren't even in full strength today.
Need to.
So that's just they are looking a little scary. And honestly, I was probably gonna pick them in every game anyway. I did last day. I'm gonna do it now. That's
we
the
have
confidence.
to now. It's guaranteed
My
points,
goodness.
apparently. Guaranteed points.
No Levron effect, nothing like that.
No, there better not be. Don't even usher the name. He who must not be named. Okay. Last matchup of the day. We need a quick break before we get to it. It's gonna be the 2A teams, Aqualix taking on Aerial Arise.